Hey guys, welcome to the day 3 update of our Thunderfire Storm build, and that's what I'm calling it. It has only been getting better with our clearing it being so good now, and our bossing is still super good. We're basically one-shotting bosses still. And I guess the biggest change for me has been migrating my character to Trade League from solo self-found. I got bored. I think crafting is still not good enough to be playing solo self-found. So let's do a quick sum up of how the build works fundamentally for those not aware. The build revolves really all around Thunderstorm, and one of the most important things is that Thunderstorm will always drench enemies it hits, and with a support called Shock Conduction, drenched enemies will always be shocked. And there's two other supports that we're also adding to Thunderstorm to deal even more direct damage. But because we're shocking enemies so often, we can use Cast on Elemental Ailment very effectively to autocast Firestorm. And Firestorm benefits from Elemental Infusions, which we'll get to now, the really cool stuff that I've added since yesterday. Living Bomb is now being autocast by Elemental Invocation, and that will increase our AoE damage even more. But more importantly, it's basically giving us infinite elemental infusions to buff our Firestorm, to use with our Firestorm. And also with having gotten a dueling wand now, a really decent one, we can use its Spell Slinger ability to autocast Orb of Storms for even more damage. And because of that, I'm only pressing one button while clearing the maps, still pressing Curse, Frost Bomb when bossing, but while clearing maps is just Thunderstorm. It's so chill. But that also comes with a little bit of a downside. I want to warn you. To be auto-casting the Elemental Invocation and the Spell Slinger, you have to use Numlock. And how that works is you will bind your abilities, your two abilities, to a numpad key, and then you hold that key and the other one too at the same time, and then you press the numlock, turning the numlock off, and that will lock your character into casting those abilities whenever they are available to cast. So if you don't like the sound of that, this build is not going to be for you. Let's go over my gear changes. It's been quite a bit of an upgrade, of course, because I'm now playing Trade League, and most pieces are really going to be super simple. It's all going to be about the energy shield stacking as our big layer of defense, and the elemental resists. And because we're playing Chaos Inoculation, we actually don't need to play any Chaos Resists, which is really good. And the really cool stuff that I've added here is going to be the two uniques. It's going to be the Guiding Palm of the Eye and the Call of the Brotherhood ring. So, why am I using a scepter? The Spirit, it's pretty simple. 120 Spirit, because I've gotten one with 2 sockets, and I added rabbit idols on each one for 20 more Spirit. And that's precisely how much is needed for this exact build that I'm running right now. And I've added specifically this Guiding Palm, the cold variant, because it adds cold damage. It also has the nice bonus of giving you cold resist on the Grant skill Purity of Ice. And the Call of the Brotherhood is also about the cold damage. It converts all of our lightning damage to cold damage. And why do I want to do that? If we do this and get a whole bunch more cold damage, we can get an offensive advantage and also a defensive advantage. Remember, this doesn't come with much of a downside at all, because we always shock enemies no matter what. We just press Thunderstorm and the enemies will be shocked. We don't need to do lightning damage. There's no shock buildup, or, well, that doesn't exist anyway. But you get what I mean. So we can convert everything to cold for very cheap, just giving up a ring slot, kind of. And that comes with the offensive benefit of whenever we freeze an enemy, we get more energy on Cast on Elemental Ailment and Elemental Invocation. These two skills require a buildup of energy before they eventually cast their abilities. And with freezing, especially with freezing, you get the most energy. We're always shocking, and that's good. And then if we freeze, we get way more energy. Besides that, there's going to be the defensive part to it that Whenever you deal cold damage to enemies, they're going to be chilled, and that means they're going to move slower. And whenever they get eventually frozen, well, they can't attack you, right? So that's also going to help defensively. Let's go a little bit into our skills and their support gems. So the primary skill is going to be Thunderstorm. We've already mentioned Shock Conduction. Static Shocks is going to deal more direct damage, just like Cursing Current. By the way, this is a projectile, and if you know those shield guys in maps, you can get those to trigger and just send projectiles back at you. Anyway, a really cool and really important one, I would say, is Lightning Exposure on Thunderstorm. Remember, it's always going to shock, so this is always going to be inflicting exposure on everything, even while clearing. I think this is very, very incredibly good. Probably the biggest upgrade on my damage so far. Cast on Elemental Element. Gonna need to run efficiency on this one, I think, because whenever doing bosses, we're getting so many procs of the Firestorm happening, as well as the Elemental Invocation, also running efficiency there, and also on the Spellslinger, also running efficiency there. It's going to drain your mana so fast, and you're going to see your mana go from 100 to 0 and back up non-stop throughout the boss fight, which is not going to be very long. So we're running that. Rising Tempest is super good in this build, because we're actually, just with one spell, we're actually casting all the 3 types. Elemental Storm is cold, fire, and lightning. So we benefit, and it benefits itself from playing Rising Tempest. It's going to be 36% more elemental damage, which is always going to be up, because this is always going to be proccing. Elemental Weakness is going to be our curse of choice. It's going to increase or decrease the enemy elemental resist by a number. I don't know if it's 122%. I think on white mobs it is. Convalescence is mandatory for defense. You're going to die probably if you don't run this when you're going for challenging maps. And Mana Remnants is also mandatory, because otherwise you'll not have enough mana to do bosses. You need this one. And let's quickly go over the passive skill tree. Just to mention, I got the 4th Ascendancy yesterday, and it's going to be Strike twice. 2 shocks is better than 1. Pretty simple. When it comes to the rest of the skill tree, we need as much energy shield as possible. That's how I get almost 10,000 energy shield already. I'm only taking this node for increased energy shield recharge and also faster start of energy shield recharge. For now, it's enough. If it's not enough, we can get it elsewhere. For example, you can get it here, you can get it over there. There's plenty we can get for pretty easy. The exposure nodes right there are going to be really important, just like this one. That's going to increase our damage a lot. We need the mana efficiency that we find here and that we also find over there. And another mana recovery node is going to be this one, and it's going to be when you collect a remnant, 3% of your max mana. And we're going to be collecting remnants all the time. We're spamming remnants of multiple kinds. The infusions are remnants, and also the mana remnants are remnants. Since yesterday, I've tried adding this wheel right here. Each of these notable nodes is going to increase our elemental damage by 30%. This one, if you've chilled an enemy recently, shocked an enemy recently, or ignited one. And this is going to happen all the time. This is probably always up. The shock, of course, is always up. The chill is always up. And the ignite, I'm not sure, but it's going to be up at least very often. Not to forget the Wild Surge Incantation node here. This is going to buff only actually our Thunderstorm and Firestorm. Not our Elemental Storm, that's not a storm. And our Orb of Storms, it's also not a storm, but it's going to buff our 2 primary damage dealers. So take that for sure as fast as possible. And we have Chaos Inoculation there. This node is also really cool. The mana regen is pretty okay. And the reduced movement speed penalty from using skills while moving makes you move faster. Really, really good. We love that. On our weapon set 2, we're going to be using a bunch of Curse Magnitude increasing. Our elemental weakness is on weapon set 2. Everything else is on weapon set 1. And finally, we have a little bit of Shock Magnitude here, which is really nice. And that's going to be it for this update. You can find this written guide right here on Mobalytics. It's going to have everything detailed, how the build works, more details into the gear, the stat priority, other cool uniques I didn't mention here, a list of all the supports you want to run, the full passive skill tree. I've even included a little bit of an atlas for this stage that I'm in, kind of early tier 15s. And you can find it in the pinned comment below. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know how it was for you, if you liked it or not. And make sure to subscribe if you want to see the next video. There's going to be more updates on this build. And if you could please press the like button, it really helps with helping the channel grow by pushing the video for more people. And I also stream on Twitch and YouTube and Kick. I'm triple streaming, and I love hanging out and chatting. So come hang out, come chat, and I'll see you there. See you next time.